Hey guys, wanted to show you the homebrew fun I've been having lately. And believe it or not guys, you can do this really cheap, really inexpensive, minimal equipment. I know getting into brewing can be very difficult because you go online, you go to homebrew stores and everyone tells you have to buy a lot of equipment and everything's expensive, and it doesn't have to be, guys. It can be this simple. You can brew in glass jugs, beer growlers, even right out of the plastic jugs you get the juice from. You know, you can pretty much do what you want. You know, rubber stoppers are cheap, or you can just, you know, get some grommets and drill your own, and make your own caps. There's so much you can do. And what I want to show you is what I did here really quick, which is pretty much some fruit wine and mead here. And this is about 3.5 gallons, which works out to about 17, maybe 18 wine bottles at a total cost of maybe 30 bucks. So you're talking $2 per bottle. Took no effort, you know, really no equipment other than like a funnel, and was actually like really simple. Now what I did was, first I took this like mango passion. I brewed that up last week. I basically brewed it up, added sugar, pitched any yeast, let it sit for a week, boom, racked it over to this growler where it's now chilling out for probably another week before it's going to be drank. And then I decided I was going to make a mead. So I got 5 pounds of honey, did a little honey water mixture, shook it all up, added a little fruit, added some raisins, pitched the yeast, boom, we got a honey mead. That was the most expensive. That was 20 bucks, you know. The other ones here are basically like juice wines. You have a Motts apple juice there, which I actually used a wild yeast, which is kind of interesting. I used some apple skins. One of the farmers market, the same one where I got the honey, had some very early apples. They really weren't ripe, you know, but people had them out there for people who maybe were going to use them for pies or what. I don't even know what they had them out for, but there wasn't many, so I picked up a couple, peeled the skins, put them in some juice, and let them sit for about a week, and then it started bubbling and frothing and churning, and lo and behold, I captured a wild yeast. So I nurtured it, added some sugar, let it grow, and pitched it into this apple juice. So this apple juice here is actually going to be fermented with a wild yeast, which is really kind of neat. If you don't have a yeast available, capturing a wild one is as simple as throwing some fruit peels in some pasteurized juice and seeing what happens. Last one here is a mixture of mead and apple. It was actually pretty clever because I did them all at the same time. So what I did was I took my leftover mead that didn't fit into this glass jug, and then I added it to this empty bottle. I cleaned it, rinsed it, you know, and sanitized it. And then I added pretty much half of that, and then I used my apple over here and dumped it into there. Rather than waste it, you know, I dumped it in here. So there we have half apple, half mead, which is called something like Sistel or something. There's a weird name for it. And I added a little fruit, added some raisins, gave it a good shake, and I also used my wild yeast for that one as well. We'll see how it turns out. You know, hopefully it's not a complete and total bomb. It'd be kind of suck if it would, if it does, but had to give it a try. So I got these two here with wild yeast, these two with store-bought yeast. So there it is. You're talking 3.5 gallons, like less than $30 invested, maybe an hour of my time. This stuff's really easy, and if you're clever and you can find ways to kind of recycle old jugs and you know, get creative with making airlocks and all that, you can do this very inexpensive. The only thing I do recommend is if you are doing something long term like a mead, use a glass jug. You're not going to want all those plastic flavors, but something quick like a juice wine, you're not going to let that sit long. You know, you're literally going to ferment it and drink it. So for me, the plastic is fine. You know, the brew snobs are going to tell you different. They're going to tell you never use plastic, only use glass. But you know what? In a pinch, this is a great thing to know. And it's a great skill to have. And it's really enjoyable because even these juice wines, you know, the Motts, you know, kind of prison hooch style brewing, you know, it actually is really not that bad. You spend a lot of money to gain like 10% quality, when it comes to home brewing. So you can save yourself 90% of the money and only lose like 10% quality. So I find that very interesting. And if you are a person who doesn't really mind and is just doing this as something to learn or a quick hobby, or even just, you know, interested in making some inexpensive booze, this is the way to go. I'm going to eventually post some recipes and do some tutorials on this, but just wanted to show you what I was up to and what I'm making, and I'll update you guys how the wild yeast works out. As you can see, there's a little bit of foam starting on both of these, so I'm actually very hopeful that the yeast took. So we will see. They're not bubbling yet, but it's still pretty early. They've only been going for like an hour or so. So hope you guys enjoyed.